Hello YouTube. Today I'll be showing you 1 hour of smithing rune 2H's. So first and foremost, this requires 99 smithing however, and it's only good if you're going for 120 or 200 mil. So for my equipment setup, I have an augmented crystal hammer, and basically it has a 10% chance to save a bar when you're smithing rune 2H's. It requires wasteless smithing scroll, which is bought from dungeoneering tokens. So one of the perks I have is rapid 3, and basically there's a 15% chance to speed up your smithing by 1 tick. And so I got this combination from 5 shifting components in 7 tries, although it's actually much more rare than that. I had like a lot of spare dungeoneering tokens, so I basically just bought offhand chaotic claws. I actually dismantled them without augmenting. The other perk I have is Tinker 3 perk, and basically there's a 15% chance to get 25% more smithing XP. I got this combination with 5 fungal components, and it took me 8 tries to get this. Now I had a lot of spare fungal components, and I'm sure a lot of you guys would, because from dismantling Ganodermic armor, you get a lot of these anyways. The reason being is, Ganodermic armor is like the cheapest to dismantle for armor augmenting. So then on my offhand I have Enhanced Excalibur, and that is Wise 3 perk on it. I basically got this combination from 5 Saren components. Then I had the full blacksmith outfit, and basically the blacksmith top also retains the effects of the highest Varrock armor you have. So the highest Varrock armor tier I have is Varrock armor 4, which there's a 10% chance to smith rune items faster. It actually also stacks with rapid 3 perk, and that is additively. So basically there will be a 25% chance to smith faster by 1 tick. Now I highly suggest you use a Beast of Burden here, and in order to do that, you want to make a preset as well. So basically you want to set your Beast of Burden to withdraw a full inventory of rune bars. Now every time you click the preset, it will withdraw a full inventory and Beast of Burden of rune bars all in 1 click. Then you want to set your left click familiar option to take Beast of Burden, because that way you can take the Beast of Burden while you're smithing and it won't actually interrupt. You can also use Legendary Pet as well, so you can make the pack yak last 2 hours long. So yeah, combine that with Beast of Burden and inventory, you can smith up to 19 rune 2H's total. Also, for anyone who doesn't know, you can now configure a portable forge by right clicking configure. And I would highly suggest you do that, because you don't want to right click to actually smith. Now Portable Forge does indeed give you 10% more XP for smithing, and there's also a 10% chance to save a bar when smithing. Now with the Portable Forge and the Crystal Hammer, I did calculate it, and it's approximately 2.61 rune bars every rune 2H. Now if you want to sell your rune 2H's in bulk, I highly suggest you do that on forums, because you know the GE price is really low nowadays. If you want to alch them however, it actually makes more profit, but I wouldn't really suggest you do that honestly. Now if you do alch them however, you actually make more profit. And if you also own multiple alt accounts, you can alch even faster by actually alching on each alt at the same time. But otherwise you can just alch while you're skilling, and it's also pretty efficient as well. However, it doesn't work in the arc since it actually interrupts every skilling action in the arc. Alright, so the XP multipliers I use was Portable Forge for 10% more XP, the Blacksmith set for 6% more XP, and then also the Occasional Pulse Core, which is 10% more XP. Also, I did have Tinkerer perk, which occasionally sometimes I get 25% more smithing XP. Alright, so overall in 1 hour, I smithed 1,532 rune 2H's. Now at the base XP per hour, this gives me 337.5k XP per hour smithing. I used a total of 3,944 bars, and I averaged 2.57 bars per rune 2H I smithed. I paid 14k for each rune bar, and I sold the rune 2H for 37.1k. Nowadays, you actually cannot sell it for that much, because the GE price is way lower than that. And yeah, I did sell it on bulk on forums, so I was pretty lucky. At the given rate of 2.61 bars per rune 2H, you can make 560 coins every rune 2H you make. Though alching them would actually profit a lot more than that, and I think you make like 2 mil an hour alching them alone. So yeah, the GP per hour without alching them is around 850k GP per hour. Well, I actually did this when the rune 2H's were actually in high demand on forums, but nowadays I think it probably don't even profit at all, so it's probably a break even actually. Now the huge problem is, there's a high upfront cost. It costs 55 mil GP worth of rune bars for just 1 hour of smithing this, so yeah, it can be really a pain in the ass to sometimes sell them and buy them back. So in comparison to protein bars, it's actually on par with protein bars in terms of XP per hour, but it's a lot less AFK since you're going to be constantly pressing take Beast of Burden while you're smithing. So in comparison to rune ceremonial swords, which are made in Artisan's Workshop, you can smith 55 swords every hour. At the average base XP of 7.1k every sword, perfect swords will give you 20% more XP, and it's around 392k XP per hour without any modifiers. However, since many people do smithing dailies or on double Artisan's weekend, it's certainly way more than 392k XP per hour. Of course, it can be quite expensive, however, but smithing dailies makes it almost free. So yeah, thanks for watching and I hope it helps. If I missed anything, feel free to ask.